Sleeping Dogs is an open world action video game developed by United Front Games, set in, well, I just said it, moron, Hong Kong. So in this game, you get to play as the Chinese Terminator Wei Shin, but instead of just being a low-down dirtball criminal, you're actually an undercover cop, posing as a Triad member to try to take down the Sun On Yi. Now this game is absolutely packed with tons of awesome features and content, which of course, I will not be showing you. Instead, I've condensed the entire story of Sleeping Dogs for you into a decently sized movie video. So, if you're looking for that nerd-ad tricks and tips video I just mentioned, fuck off! Okay, so first in the beginning, we get thrown in a random cutscene at the dirty docks of Hong Kong. And we're shown two dudes about to engage in a drug deal with this other big ass dude until a dock worker shows up and the big dude goes ape and kills him. We are also shown cops are actually watching this deal go down, and upon seeing the dock worker get killed, they bust the deal. So after the shanking, the two douchebags escape and do sick ass parkour through the docks, but eventually they're both caught and taken in. And in the next cutscene, we see Wei, whose name I hope has been established by now, in a local jail cell contemplating his life decisions. When all of a sudden he gets recognized by one of his old childhood friends, Jackie Ma. They chop it up for a bit, and Jackie tells Wei their old friends Winston and Dog Eyes have moved up to Red Pole in the Sun On Yi. Then Jackie gets called for release, but tells Wei to hit him up when he gets out so they can do some business together. Next, we are thrown into yet another cutscene where Wei is being interrogated by two cops. At first, the scene is playing out like the cops are really gonna get the beating the dog out of Wei, but then the big reveal is thrown at us, which is that Wei is actually an undercover detective. Snitch ass nigga. It turns out Wei was actually assigned to make contact with Jackie Ma so he can make his way into the Sun On Yi and take down the organization from the inside. But it's weird cause how the f did they know Jackie would be in jail at the same time they caught Wei? And if the plan was for him to go to jail anyway, why did this nigga have to do all that temple run shit? Man, low-key, this game had hella plot holes and twists and shit that make no sense, but I'ma just save it for the end of the video. Anyways, next to add on to this buffet of cutscenes, we see Wei meeting up with Jackie Ma on the outside. They chop it up again for a bit, then Jackie takes Wei to go see Winston. While walking there, Jackie tries to holler at this counter hussy, and we get jumped by some dudes in Dog Eyes weak gag gang. We are then shown why Wei has the reputation he has, cause he proceeds to beat the dog doo-doo shit out of like 30 guys. After that ass whooping of a lifetime, we finally meet up with Winston at his mama's restaurante, and Jackie dick rides Wei in front of the gang until Winston finally caves in. And he tells his Jeremy Lin looking at B to take me to the night market to prove myself and help settle a few scores. When we head outside, Wei easily survives this weak ass hazing attempt, and we get our first look at that Dog Eyes. He's just about as douchey as I expected, but f that nigga, we got some business to handle at the market. At the night market, Winston wanted us to extort some of the vendors for protection money and take over the vendors that already have protection from Dog Eyes. And after we finish our collections, Jackie gives me the old Sweet Johnson lecture of telling the main character to go dress like a gang member to fit in. Nigga, I ain't trying to wear that dusty ass wife beater. So we get back to the Golden Core to talk to Winston, and somehow this nigga Jackie made it back here already? What the hell? So Wei talks to Winston, and apparently some dude named Ming is trying to skip out on payments now that he's aligned himself with Dog Eyes. And you know weak ass Jackie ain't doing shit, so Winston wants us to go deal with him. Wei ends up having to chase this bald ass nigga around the night market and eventually onto this rooftop where he drops all of his men with ease and then Ming himself. But then what a surprise, the cops show up and arrest Wei again. This nigga is the master of conspicuousness. At the precinct, Wei is taken into the interrogation room again, but this time he's in the room with baddie Inspector Tang. She starts going on and on about how she can help Wei if he snitches, and it's quite obvious she doesn't know he's undercover until Pendrew walks in and gives her the rundown. Now I want y'all to remember Inspector Tang because she's gonna come back in a minute, but for right now, Pin Bitch tells Wei to stay out of trouble and we head back out onto the streets. Wei then meets up with Jackie again and expresses his frustration about being stuck as Winston's little errand boy. But obviously it's really because he's trying to make new developments on his case, and just being stuck as a lowly Jackie clone ain't gonna cut it. Well, it turns out Jackie actually has a plan for that, and he wants Wei to come along with him for this heist for some watches. So Wei and Jackie start off on their dirty dock adventures to capture the watches. They fight and they kill and they scramble until finally they make it back with the watches, but
Jackie, he's a fake as fuck.
Wow, thanks a lot, jackass. Niggas ain't never gonna move up in the Red Pole. Alright man, y'all remember Inspector Tang? Well, following that waste of a heist, I saw on the map we unlocked our first case of the game, and in these missions we have to help Inspector Tang solve unfinished cases all over Hong Kong. Starting off with trying to shut down the ketamine racket Wei has been hearing about. Now actually I was originally planning on showing some of these side mission and collectibles in the game, but after recording a couple I realized they had absolutely zero effect on the story or plot, so I decided against it. Getting back to the story though, we're working the ketamine racket case, and our first objective is to talk to that bald ass mean dude. We have to inquire about who his dealer is, and he gives us the name Popstar and his location. Following this lead, we head to the basketball court where Popstar is, and we buy a package off of him. And he tells us who his main supplier is, which is the guy we want to take down. This mission is basically just an extended version of the drug bust side quest, as the second part of this mission is literally exactly that. You just gotta take out the gang, hack into the little surveillance thing, and then you head back to your apartment to officially get the dealer off the streets. So following my gunner adventures, let's fast forward a little bit to the underground dojo training segment. A key feature of this game is upgrading your fighting skills by finding these weak ass statues around Hong Kong for Master Sifu. I probably won't bring this up again, so if you see Wei with some new moves as we proceed, that's why. So after reluctantly giving this white mid a tour around the city, now it was time to finish what we started and finally get Popstar's dumb ass off the streets. So we follow him to the dirty docks in a dirty stinky chicken van and take pictures of him convoluting with his supplier. However, when Popstar goes to flip the ketamine to a second dealer, they get into an altercation and Popstar kills him, which Wei also captures on his rat ass phone. Wei sends all this evidence to Inspector Tang, and she informs him that they captured Popstar and his crew, so that officially closes our first case for the game. Tang also warns Wei that with Popstar getting arrested, it may cause
a little dysentery among the ranks,
as he was one of the last suppliers. And what do you fucking know, the next time Wei steps into the golden koi, he gets manhandled onto a table and questioned about if he's a rat. Hell yeah. Bald ass Ming is there, he trying to convince Winston that Wei is a rat because of how Popstar got suspiciously taken down just shortly after Wei came around asking about it. Fortunately though, Wei quickly shifts the blame onto Ming, saying that he is the only one that would benefit from Popstar going away, as then he would gain all his customers. This theory is enough to convince Winston, who swiftly turns Ming into a donut. So Wei just barely slithered his way out of that confrontation, but now he's slowly proving himself, and this event along with a few more coming up are the catalyst for how he ended up working his way up the Sun On Yi so fast. After that near-death experience, I started up the next mission in the game, in which we are tasked with planting a bug in the golden koi. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of doing this was, but hey, we get to hear Mrs. Chu bully her employees, so that's a plus. Following this, I started up the next case in the game, which was centered around taking down the underground racing circuit. Apparently, it's a known fact that some of the racers participating die slow and painful deaths, but recently Tang has been noticing that the deaths feel deliberate and calculated, so she needs Wei to help her solve this mystery. The first thing that we have to do to accomplish this is break into the underground racing scene. So we hit up Jackie to ask him how, and he tells us to contact some Bama named Ace, who invites Wei to his first race. Of course, Wei ends up winning the race, and as a result, he has officially started to make a name for himself in the racing scene. After this, we get a call from the club skank from earlier, and she needs Wei's help getting rid of a gun that belonged to another Triad member called Charlie Pang. After she gives Wei the gun, he calls Raymond to tell him he has the gun, and Raymond tells him to meet him at the underpass to complete the exchange. But when Wei gets there, Pendrew is there in Raymond's place, as he said he wanted to handle this matter personally. This mission is honestly just a tutorial for guns and shooting in this game, but at the end of it, we get to catch a little glimpse of Pendrew's true character, as he uses Pang's gun to shoot the already dead bodies on the scene to frame him, to which Wei disapproves. Right after this, we get a text from Jackie saying that Winston's mom's shop got shot up, so now we have to head back to Club Bam Bam to see what Winston has planned for Retaliation. At Club Bam Bam, we are briefed that it was actually Dog Eyes who shot up Mrs. Chu's shop, so Winston rightfully wants some retaliation. And his plan is to hit Dog Eyes' sweatshop on the docks, as it is his main hub for moving drugs. He also originally tells the gang to take out the owner of the operation, Siwa, as well, but after Wei offers the alternate option of taking him in alive and putting him to work, Winston agrees to that, so the gang heads off to the docks. On the way there, Winston's right-hand man, whose name I don't care to remember, informs Wei that if he does not kill anybody on this raid, they will officially know he is a rat, as apparently that is the main way how they weed out cops. But unknowingly to them, Wei is one crazy ass SOB, so when they arrive at the docks, Wei fights and shoots his way through the warehouse until he eventually gets to Siwa, where he hoes and forces him to come with him. When they get outside, another big explosion happens inside the warehouse, which causes Wei to lose his grip on Siwa, to which then he attempts to flee in a police car. But Wei hawks his ass down, does his Mission Impossible ass jump, and takes Siwa back to the lockup where Winston tells him that he's no longer working for Dog Eyes, and now he's in service to him. That generic right-hand man goon also tells Wei that he's proven himself and, whatever, chump. So now Winston has successfully taken over Dog Eyes' biggest racket, and it may end up angering some of the higher-ups in the Sun On Yi, but we'll get back to that later. For right now, we're on to our second lead for the street racing case, and we have to bug this dude named Hotshot's car and follow him around town to try to gather evidence on him, as he is the main suspect in these street racing killings. While following him, Wei overhears him tell his passenger Nas that he's gonna race that dude Ace from earlier, and during the race, he's gonna kill him as well to make sure he doesn't make it to the finish line. He also discusses with Nas the possibility of Wei being a rat, as he finds it suspicious that he came out of nowhere. But the funny thing is about this conversation is we find out later from Inspector Tang that Nas is an informant himself, and he's trying to throw Wei under the bus in this scene like a jackass. So now we know Hotshot is going to try to kill Ace, but we're not entirely sure where and when yet, so we're going to put this case on hold for now. We have more important matters to attend to, as Winston informs Wei at Club Bam Bam that Uncle Po wants to meet him, and more importantly talk to Winston about this raid he just enacted on Dog Eyes' warehouse. On the way to Uncle Po's, Winston and Wei end up having a very heart-to-heart kind of chat, where Winston tells Wei he is worried about the consequences of the raid they just pulled. He also, for some very odd reason, tells Wei to look after the gang, but like, nigga, why? At this point in the story, this nigga Wei has only been around for a week or two, and yeah, he has helped the gang out a lot, but like, bro, it's only been like 2 weeks, dog. No wonder they've been having problems with rats. They just let any old rando come in and make rank within a month. Anyways, we finally get to Uncle Po's, and the tension in the room when Wei and Winston arrive is very poignant. It is made very clear to us that Uncle Po is a very powerful man, and I almost thought Winston was gonna get smoked in this scene, but yeah, he's alright. Now in this mission, Uncle Po wants us to help an associate clear up some debts, but I'm pretty sure this is just filler and it's not really important to the overall plot. So what I will talk about is the conversation Wei has with Raymond after the mission is over. Raymond has his panties all in a bunch because he thinks Wei is being too extreme in his methods on trying to take down the Sun On Yee. But Wei tells Raymond that it's simply part of the job and reminds him that he is the one who said by any means necessary. So after that lovely conversation, we head to our next lead in the Hotshot case, but I'm not entirely sure what the point of this mission was, as all you do is participate in another race, but there's no dialogue or anything, so I don't really have any context for what it was for. So let's just do our next Sun On Yee mission, where Winston's mom wants us to escort Winston's girl around town while she gets some stuff to prepare for their wedding. And this is a really nice mission to get at this point in the game. It's nice to get a break from the chaos, as we get to help Winston's yacht wife with her errands, and we get to know a little more of Wei's personal side. And keeping the fond memories going, next it was time to attend this aforementioned wedding, and it's time to party!
Shit!
God damn, man. Even playing this game now, this mission still hits the same, bro. Probably one of the saddest missions in video game history. At their own wedding, Winston and his bride got smoked by some secret mercenaries sent by, well, we don't know yet, but we're sure gonna find out. But for right now, Wei has to make it out of the wedding hall safely and help Uncle Po, who we came across outside, to safety as well. After Wei saves Uncle Po and drops him off to the hospital, he has to meet up with Raymond again for another debrief. And in this meeting, it is made very obvious to us that Wei is beginning to get his feelings about this whole situation, as he is starting to blur the line between being a member of the Triads and a cop. Raymond tries to remind Wei to stay on task and not get too emotional about the job, but Wei is feeling conflicted, as now he has to take over for Winston, and it's causing him to become too invested in playing the role of a Sun On Yee member. But I guess Raymond's not too worried about it, because he just lets Wei go free again with absolutely no repercussions or discourse. So following that, we start up our next lead in the Hotshot case, where the inevitable Ace killing finally happens, and geez Louise is it dark. Basically, the mission starts out with Wei tracking down Ace's phone, where we hear his girlfriend calling 911 to report that her and Ace got into a fatal car crash while racing Popstar. When Wei arrives at the scene, Ace's girlfriend tells Wei that Popstar forced her car off the side of the highway and that the steering wheel caved in Ace's chest due to the crash. As a result of this, Wei challenges Popstar to a race so he can finally set him up to be arrested and taken off the streets, which is exactly what happens. The cops finally get Popstar, and Inspector Tang informs us they will be charging him with murder, so that's the second case for Tang done and in the books. Now it's time to start dealing with the fallout from the wedding shooting, and the first thing on our list is to find the person responsible and bring him to justice, or Mrs. Choose Me Cleaver. She tells Wei when he finds the man responsible to bring him back to the shop, so with that request in mind, Wei calls up Raymond to find the location of Johnny the Ratface, as apparently sometime off screen during the wedding, Wei identified one of the shooters as somebody in his crew, so Wei uses his high-tech Area 69 gear to triangulate Johnny's location to the docks, where he fucks up his guys and then engages in the 100th action car chase of the game. Then after Wei captures Johnny, he takes him back to the Golden Koi, where Mrs. Chu turns him into a chicken souffle. And you know, I thought she was gonna interrogate him a little more about who planned this, but I guess not. So back at Club Bam Bam, the gang and Wei are discussing possible future plans and retaliation now that Winston's gone, when suddenly one of Big Smiley's ugly ass associates walks in and tries to strong arm Wei into giving up Winston's old businesses. But obviously y'all already know Wei ain't no hoe, and he tells that fake ass Ice-T,
You tell Mr. Lee that his people stay the fuck out of our territory, and in return, we'll let him live.
And after he leaves, he sends more of his stank ass associates in Club Bam Bam to try to take us out. Wei the Terminator ain't going for that shit though. So after clearing out multiple waves of Lee's men and kicking Ice Ching's ass, we can finally move on to apparently I didn't do enough damage on him and Ponytail gets away, but we can't worry about that right now because the cops are on our ass. Wei runs away into this nearby building, and waiting for him on the other side with a getaway is another Sun On Yee boss, Broken Nose Jane. And basically her deal is she wants to partner up with Wei to combat Big Smiley's takeover. As Uncle Po is in the hospital hospital and the state of his health is uncertain. She tells Wei that she believes in harmony and peace, and that if the Sun On Yee were to fall under Big Smile Lee's control, it could be disastrous for all involved. Wei agrees to help her and Jang departs. So next, Wei has to take care of Nas, the dude from the very beginning of the game that you were in the failed drug deal with. If you remember, he was running his mouth calling Wei a cop, and he scammed Jackie's dumb ass as well. So now Wei has to get rid of him. Tang wants us to keep him alive though, so Wei just brings him back to the undercover HQ, and what the agency did with him after that is anybody's guess. So I head back to the Golden Koi. Ew, ugh. What is that? Mrs. Chu finally drops the Woj bomb we've all been waiting for, and reveals to Wei that it was actually that dog guys who set up that shooting at the wedding. She then tells Wei to find him and bring him to her, so I guess there's gonna be 2 chicken specials on the menu this week. Who is she serving this bullshit to? Anyways, we head to dog guys hideout on, you guessed it, the docks. And we actually get a cooler chase sequence this time, as we have to follow dog eyes in a boat to this fish market, where we chase him through the whole damn factory and shove some of his boys in fish tanks. Eventually, we make it back to the Golden Koi with dog eyes and hand him over to Mrs. Chu, where she chops him up into hibachi and finally puts an end to the miserable that was dog eyes. Next, I figured we should get back to doing our actual job as a cop and start up our next case for Tang, which this time around was centered around a supposed serial killer. So Wei has to head to this location and fast talk his way past the guard so he can take a look at some bodies. Upon investigating the bodies, Wei notices that all 3 of them have had their organs harvested. So he calls Tang and informs her that he thinks there's something bigger going on here, but that puts this case on hold for now. So we head back to the hospital, where Uncle Po and the other bosses of the Sun On Yee are discussing who should take Uncle Po's place in case his health takes a turn for the worse. At first it seems Big Smile Lee is going to elect himself to be temporary chair, but Jang chimes in and suggests Uncle Po's nephew Tu Chin Sao, to which Uncle agrees. He also tells Wei that he is going to be a red pole and to bring any of his friends who have not been made with him as well. So Wei goes to collect Jackie and they get made. But once again, the most important part of this mission is the conversation Wei has with Raymond after he gets made. Raymond wants Wei to start collecting info on another random named Sunny Wo, stating that to take down the Sun On Yee, they also have to take down those who support them as well. And then he just randomly tries to mention in passing that they're going to take down Jackie, as they think it would be easy for them to turn him informant, to which Wei completely disagrees. He says it's because taking in Jackie could blow his cover, which in his defense is kind of true, but really we know it's just because Wei is becoming too invested in this role. He then tells Raymond to piss off, but after participating in heists with Jackie the next night, the cops take him in anyways. So shit, I guess they don't just let Wei do whatever he wants. Right after this, Wei gets a call from Ricky where he tells him the 18K are attacking the hospital where Uncle Po is at. So Wei has to rush there to try to control the situation. When he gets there, Wei and Ricky do their best to take out the seemingly endless waves of 18K, and eventually, finally, they clear them all out. They discuss the state of the Triads for a little bit before departing again, and after losing the cops, Wei drops off Ricky safely, so it looks like crisis averted. For now. And speaking of crisis, we had our second lead in this Jeffrey Dahmer ass case to do, and it actually takes place at the same hospital we just had World War VI at, and somehow everybody and everything has recovered already. Anyways, Wei hacks into a random hospital terminal and somehow gains access to top secret doctor files that reveals to us that a dude named Dr. Sang has been doing a lot of organ transplants recently. So Wei plants a bug in the good doctor's room, and then he breaks into his vault where he finds a document that reveals that Dr. Sang has been harvesting Sun On Yee organs for an 18K black market organ ring. So now we've collected some hard evidence against the organ doctor, but we still have the task of taking him down. And that comes directly after the trip to the hospital, when we get a call from Tang telling us that Calvin, who Wei's supposedly good buddies with, is the next donor on the list, so we have to go save his ass from getting shish kebabbed. After engaging in our 5 millionth action chase sequence in the game, we drop Calvin off safely in the garage, and Tang calls Wei to inform him that Dr. Sang got picked up and confessed already. God damn, nigga, it's only been like 30 seconds. Anyway, Sang confessed to harvesting organs on 20 bodies already in the past 2 years, so he'll be doing a long pussy bid. And that's our third case for Tang finished up. So fast forwarding a little bit, we got these couple little missions for Sunny Wo that we gotta do, but they're boring as shit and not important to the story whatsoever. So basically all you gotta remember is that this skank is Ricky's girl and Sunny's worker, but she for the streets and he's a jealous cuck, so that will come back into effect later. Anyway, moving past that, we have another meeting with Broken Nose Jang to attend to, and at this meeting, Jang tells Wei the time to choose a new leader of the Sun On Yee is right around the corner, and if Tu Chin Chow were to step down, an election would occur where herself and Big Smile Lee would battle it out. But in order for this election to happen, she wants us to manipulate Chow into using heroin again so that he will be recognized as unfit to lead. In order to sabotage this fat ass, we have to break into his mansion with old Krabby here and fuck up his house, as apparently he's very superstitious and anything out of order in his house will cause him to go ape shit. So me and Krabby Man successfully sneak in and shit all over this man's house, and when he gets back he actually does go ape shit. So I guess mission accomplished. Tu Chin is now out of contention, so now an impeding election looms over the Sun On on Yi. But until then, let's finish up our final case for Inspector Tang, which involves some immigrant women kidnappings that have been happening. You know, me and Baddie Tang have come a long way, you know. She used to hate my ass, now she getting all sweet and sappy, thinking Wei for all his help. You're welcome, B. Anyways, this case mainly revolves around this Russian hostess named Ilyana. She initially contacted Wei about her hostess friend Katushka going missing, and that is why Wei brought it up to Inspector Tang. And speaking of Ilyana, that is who we went to go see first. Wei asked her if Katushka had any close friends or special clients, and Ilyana tells Wei that he should talk to Mr. Chang, as he and Katush were special friends. So we find Mr. Chang huddled up with some huzz in the corner, and we threaten to put a green light on his ass unless he tells us what the hell is going on with Katushka. He tells Wei that they did have a relationship going on, but he hasn't seen her in a while, but he gives Wei her apartment address, so that's where he's headed next. At Katushka's apartment, we see her place is all fucked up, but luckily the only documents we need were kept clean and pristine on the fridge. So Wei snaps a pic of them and tells Tang to run a phone number for him. Tang calls Wei back and tells him the phone number belongs to one, yeah, I'm not saying that. And apparently he's some big time boat gambler, so Wei sets out to sea next and we board this random gambling den in the middle of the dirty waters of HK. On the boat, I absolutely rob the shit out of our target, then get him to set up another kidnapping of a hostess, which will be Ilyana posing as a victim to catch this creep. Unfortunately, we do have to put this case on pause again for the moment as we have another mission for Sunny Woe. Like I said earlier, his missions are very elongated and filled with pointless fillers, so in summary, he just wanted Wei to put a camera in Pop Skank's house to make sure she's not plotting anything, but the true plot comes from the end of this mission where she shows up at Wei's door offering to neck him up for all the help he's been, but when Wei declines, she admits that Sunny sent her and that she has him do this for all his associates. She thanks Wei with a kiss and then chlamydias her way out. Wei also meets up with Pendrew in this mission where Pendrew says he needs a copy of the footage Wei just took of Pop Skank's apartment so he can use the footage to finally put Sunny away for good. Wei agrees, but only if Pendrew lets Jackie go, to which Pendrew agrees. So after Wei gets the video, he hands it over to Pendrew, who congratulates Wei and tells him his mission is officially done. But Wei is like, hold on, nah, this ain't the end. If Big Smile Lee takes over, the Sun On Yi will be worse off than ever before. But Pendrew don't give a damn about that, because as far as he's concerned, the Sun On Yi is already badly damaged from losing so many of its high-ranking members. So he orders Wei to come in and complete his operation, but Wei refuses, storming off like an edgy 7th grader. The next day, Wei and the gang are attending Uncle Po's funeral when 18K and the police show up. The 18K came looking for smoke, but the police were there to publicly arrest Sunny Woe, and after they accomplish that, they leave the two gangs to brutally fight it out, much to the Sun On Yi surprise. Wei and Pendrew's interaction in this mission is very interesting, as it highlights just how far Wei has delved into the role of being a Sun On Yi member. He's basically fully joined their side now, as he even yells at Pendrew during the funeral in front of everybody. And as aforementioned, the police leave and all hell breaks loose, and Wei and the gang have to fight for their lives to get out of the cemetery. When things finally calm down, the Red Poles meet once again to discuss who will be the new leader. At this point, Lee is becoming irritated and restless, so he angrily professes to everyone that he should be the next leader, but Jang and Wei interject and remind everyone to follow tradition and to have an election, to which everyone but Lee agrees. Because of this, Big Smile Lee stages hits on anyone who is running against him and sends like 10,000 of his goons after Wei and the Water Street Boys. And after surviving multiple waves of Lee's goons and defending the Golden Koi, Wei heads to Ricky's apartment to try to convince him to back him up. And this is where that Pop Skank thing from earlier I was talking about comes back up. So basically, Sunny tried to play Ricky against Wei in the skank by telling him Wei slept with her, when in reality Wei curved that hoe, but judging by her dialogue, I guess nobody else did. Ricky agrees to help take down Lee, but for some reason Wei says he'll handle him on his own. Like shit, yeah, I guess you have been Batman in this whole operation, so yeah, keep doing your thing, Wei. Following this revelation, I figured it was time to finish up our last case for Tang. So we take Ilyana to the creep at the docks and follow them on a motorcycle. When Wei gets to where the drop-off point is supposed to be, the boat has mysteriously disappeared, so Wei has to hop in the boat and search for Ilyana at her last known GPS location. When he gets there, he sees an old sewer tunnel and the game tells us to go into it. And it leads back to an old sewer area where there are some gang members we have to kill and a bunch of immigrant hostesses locked in cages waiting to be sold into prostitution. Wei kills the creepo douches and frees the girls, and after all is said and done, Tang informs Wei they arrested the creepo fisherman who runs this operation, and they free 22 other women who were in captivity in 2 other locations. Like I said earlier, this is our last case file for the game, but me and Inspector Baddie got some real work done, bro. We cleared up like 100 files in 3 weeks. So after clearing up our last case for the game, I figured it was time to take some vacation hours and really sit back and relax.
Mr. Shen, we have your friend, so listen very carefully. You'll receive our instructions. Follow them if you want him to live.
Jesus fucking Christ, Jackie. Yes, Big Smile Lee had his men kidnap Jackie to further try to thwart Wei and Jang's plan to take over the Sun On Yi. So Wei has to go on this wild bumfuck ass goose chase to find him, which eventually ends up leading Wei to an island where they try to bury Jackie alive. I didn't really mention this before, but Jackie been dealing with some shit recently in game. Starting when he had to kill that dude when we were getting made, and it's been a downward spiral ever since. so I'm sure being kidnapped didn't help. After getting back safely, Jackie sluggishly walks off saying he needs to take a walk and clear his head. And why Wei allowed this just minutes after Jackie got kidnapped, I have no idea. But as a result of this dumbass decision, Jackie ends up getting absolutely murked, and I mean, god damn is it bad. They fucked up Jackie the worst out of anybody in this game, and he was just a damn foot soldier. Barring no time to grieve, somebody sneaks up behind Wei and clonks him into unconsciousness. When he wakes up, he's being tortured by Big Smile Lee's men, and apparently they also know Wei is a cop now too, so the head guy is just waiting for Big Smile Lee to show up so he can inform him of Wei's rattiness. But before that can happen, Wei breaks out of the chair and fights his way out of the construction site. And then finally he comes face to face again with Mr. Tong. But this time, it's an even fight, bitch. Fuck that, nigga. I'm out of here, pussy. Apparently, Wei decided in his head now would be the perfect opportunity to take out Big Smile Lee. So we head to his compound on, yes, you guessed it for the 100,000th fucking time, the dock. At Big Smiley's compound, Wei slices through the first couple enemies, but as he progresses forward, he is forced to engage in the shootout, which, let's just be honest here, he's 99% gonna win. This nigga Wei is fucking Superman. And as Wei finally reaches the end of the compound, he opens the door to the room Big Smiley is in. And Lee shoots him in the shoulder, but then his gun jams, so he flees, and of course Wei the Terminator just shrugs off the shotgun blast, and so the chase begins, ending with the boat crash landing on a tanker outpost in the water. Wei pulls himself on the land, and Big Smiley shortly pops out of nowhere to slap the shit out of Wei. They engage in a cheesy final villain aha I got you moment, before Wei forces the gun out of Lee's hand and they engage in one final battle. Yeah, bitch! Ha! How does that feel, bitch? Oh, god, no. Oh, well, I guess that's finally over. So, following the death of Big Smile Lee, Raymond tells Wei that Pendrew is no longer associated with the department and that he's up for promotion at Interpol, whatever the hell that is. So, Wei walks away somehow from this battle a hero, and Raymond surprisingly calmly tells him that he accomplished his mission, even though, you know, he slaughtered half the Hong Kong residents. I guess that doesn't matter at all. And in the next cutscene after that, we see Wei, now back to his regular detective life in his apartment, where he's examining a mysterious package labeled Officer Shin, apparently sent by Broken Nose Jang. Inside is a secret video surveillance tape of Pendrew injecting Uncle Po with some whale semen, killing him. Uncle Po goes out with this weak ass bar about him knowing who he is, but it's kind of forced and I don't fuck with it. So on to the next cutscene where Pendrew has seemingly been arrested for killing Uncle Po, in an almost identical scene from how Pendrew had Wei in the interrogation room at the beginning of the game. Wei tells Pendrew he's planning on telling Pendrew's fellow inmates he was the one who killed Uncle Po, as retaliation for Pendrew trying to set up Wei to be killed, and because Wei still obviously had a twisted sense of loyalty to the Sun On Yee. Pendrew begs for his life as Wei leaves the room, but there's no getting out of this pussy pounding, old man. You better enjoy it. Finally, Wei meets up with Inspector Tang, where they discuss Wei's future and what his plans are now that the case is over. Wei tells Tang he will most likely stay in Hong Kong, as the camera pans over to Broken Nose Jang secretly spying on their meeting. Her underling asks her what she wants to do about Wei now that they know his secret identity, but she decides to let Wei be, as his actions only benefited her and never did anything to put her at risk. And with that, the story of Sleeping Dogs comes to an end. This game is still a whole lot of fun to play, with its interesting characters, hilarious dialogue, and awesome combat system. I'd say Sleeping Dogs is definitely a certified hood classic for sure. However, there are a few issues I had with this game which I touched on earlier, but as I said, I would save it for the end of the video, so here that is now. Okay, like I said at the beginning, how the hell did they know Jackie was going to be in jail at the beginning? So in one of the beginning cutscenes, Wei tells Pendrew that his mission was a success and that he made contact with Jackie Ma. But if that was his plan from the beginning, why the fuck did he have to do all that running from the cop shit and the failed drug deal and all that? This nigga could have just did some petty felony shit and he could have just got put in jail with him. He didn't have to do all that. Okay, the second problem I had with this game was, why did they use Wei for this undercover operation if they knew he was going to get too invested in the case? So like normally, I feel like you hear about undercover cops, they always try to choose like, you know, cops that are not like they don't have anything to do with the case, because then they won't like, you know, become conflicted, and they won't like put their emotions in front of like, you know, I don't know, like thinking practically basically. They're not going to use high risk agents to undergo the operation, because then they might do what happened to Wei in the game, become too invested and switch to the other side, or they might blow their cover too early. Like we hear multiple people say Wei is already known as a hothead and a quick trigger. Okay, the third issue I have with this game is how the fuck did Wei work himself up the ladder so quickly? This to me was probably the most unrealistic part about this game. Like literally 3 weeks after this nigga joins the gang, they make him a red pole. Wei was making a lot of contributions, but like, I don't know, like even in like, I don't know, they have organization. Like they don't just let random niggas just level up that fast in games. Like they weren't worried that this random nigga was trying to damn rise to the top of the gang so quickly. Big Smile Lee has like one line talking about how Wei's only been around for a short while, and the only reason he said that is because Wei started talking about honor and code or whatever. So Big Smile Lee was just saying that and telling Wei that he needs to shut the hell up because he doesn't know shit about the gang because he just got here. And that's exactly my point. If these niggas feel that way, why the hell did they make him a red pole? Okay, the fourth thing that's shitty about this game, but I don't know, this is just something I kind of personally noticed. I don't know if anybody else has a problem with this, but like I was noticing when whenever Wei had the little meetings with like Raymond or Pendrew, this nigga would just keep disrespecting their orders and they weren't doing shit about it. Okay, and the last thing, and you know, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably the worst shit in the game. This makes absolutely no sense, bro, and I know other people have thought about this before. Why the fuck, when Jackie had got kidnapped the first time, right, when Wei dropped him off after they got back safely, why did this, okay, first of all, why did they write this nigga talking about something he gotta go take a walk to clear his head? Like nigga, you just got kidnapped, bro. You should be trying to move to another fucking city. And why did Wei just let him walk off on his own? Like, bro, everybody already knew Big Smile Lee was trying to take out everybody who was going against him, so this nigga trying to take a walk? That shit is stupid, man. And considering some of the other times we see Wei being quick thinking and level-headed, this is fucking terrible decision making by the writers. Alright, that was the last problem I really had with this game. And don't get me wrong, bro, Sleeping Dogs is a really good game, bro. A really, really good game. But you know, every game has its flaws, and you know, this game has a couple of them. This game has hella plot holes and shit that doesn't make sense if you really pay attention. But you know, I guess a lot of games are probably like that if you really look deep into it. Overall, I think Sleeping Dogs is a really good game. A certified motherfucking hood classic. And I hope I did it at least a little bit of justice in this video. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, hey, slut. I been geeked up saying stupid shit. She had fucked off, it that hurt my heart and shot like Cupid, bitch. Told this hoe I was gonna run it up, she feeling stupid, bitch. Hey, I just won't stun on all these hoes, I'm not buying shit. Hey, expensive drugs, expensive clothes, I'm not lying, bitch, I'm high shit. I'm just trying.